I am Kerwin. This is Keith. We are live this evening.
We are live and alive.
Yes, we are. Uh, we're about 1 week away from the opening of Madam Web. We are going to talk about that movie. But before we get there, we want to talk about what happened last Friday for me. I was looking at my phone and I couldn't believe what I saw, this breaking news, this headline that came up on CNN, and I thought maybe they made a mistake. They don't usually make mistakes on things like that. But then I checked other sources, and they were reporting the same thing. Unfortunately, we lost a Star Wars member, a Lucasfilm family member. Carl Weathers passed away on Thursday, this past Thursday, at the age of 76. It came as a shock to all of us. It's interesting. I wanted to just take a moment and just talk about this actor, this gentleman, and celebrate, what he's
career.
Yeah, sure, what he's done. It's of course, for me, the first time I met or seen Carl Weathers on the screen was in the Rocky films. Now, funny thing, I had no idea that he was a football player. I didn't know he played for the NFL. So apparently he did. He was born in New Orleans in 1948 on January the 14th, and he played college football for the San Diego State Aztecs. All right. So he actually attended San Diego State and got a master's in arts there. And he did play college football. And then after that, he was in the NFL. He was a linebacker, and he played for the Oakland Raiders for a couple of years. Had no idea he was a football player. And then after the NFL, he left and he went to Canada, and he played for the BC Lions for the Canadian Football League. But his love was always his first love. His passion was acting. So even when he was on the football field, he was taking acting classes. So acting is where he wanted to be. That's where he ended up, and we're grateful for it. But just talking about his role as Apollo Creed in Rocky, and I know, Keith, you haven't seen Rocky.
I have not.
Yeah, and I'm not going to give it away, but just give you a basic idea as to who he played and what the story was about. So Rocky Balboa grew up in Philadelphia. He is a struggling boxer. Apollo Creed, on the other hand, is a heavyweight champion. He's established, he's well known, he's famous, and he's just looking for a challenge. He wants to do something new. So, a lot of, about boxing and boxing matches, it's a show. It's still sport, but it's entertainment. So he was looking to figure out a way. It's 1976, the bicentennial year. He wanted to see what he can do to draw a crowd, right? So he thought he'd take this poor guy from South Philadelphia, Southpaw, and bring him in the ring, try to make a fool of him, but give him the chance to be in the ring with the heavyweight champion, not knowing that Rocky was actually going to go the distance, meaning that he was going to stay in this fight. Apollo thought he had an easy match, that he was going to knock this opponent down, and that was not the case. And the
So
way
you spoiled the ending.
No, I didn't spoil the ending. I did not spoil the ending. You did not know what happened at the end. So there's much more to the movie than that. But that's all I'm going to say about the plot. But his performance. Now, if you could, this movie came out in 1976. So his character was just something I have never seen before. And when I'm saying never seen before, by an African-American actor, a Black actor, playing someone who is wealthy, rich. He has fame and fortune. He's a celebrity status. He dresses well. He has a wife. He runs a business. So he always talking about what looks good for him as a businessman. He had people in his corner, trying to, create this image of Apollo Creed as this person who has really got his stuff together. But underneath all that, he was a very complicated character, right? And it was just, it wasn't like a one-dimensional, okay, well, this guy, he's the bad guy, he's the heavy, he's going to say bad things and he's going to go in the ring and do bad things to the good guy. It's not that. He was so much more than that. And just imagine that Carl Weathers came around a time where it predated Eddie Murphy, Wesley Snipes, Samuel Jackson, Denzel Washington, Will Smith. So these actors they haven't even started their career at this point in 1976.
Some of them probably weren't born.
Well, they were around, Keith. Yes.
All of them?
Yes, 1976 was, yes, they're older than me, except for Will Smith. We're the same age, but yeah, so the gentleman, yeah, Keith, don't worry about it. They were around. So my point is that they weren't famous, right? And I wonder, if this character, seeing Carl Weathers playing Apollo Creed, was maybe an inspiration for them to actually get into acting and to create these memorable roles that they will create down the line. But I'm just, what I'm saying is that, there was no one like him, on the screen. He was big. He was, he was an intelligent, bright, you couldn't take his eyes off of him. So he was a pretty cool character, a very good actor. So to me, that was his most famous. He was in the first 4 Rocky films. He did.
Wait, how many Rocky films were there?
Well, the ones starring Stallone, there were 6, I believe. After the 4th one, I think.
Why isn't he in the last 2?
Well, he is in. Well, I'm talking about Creed. So Creed is like an offshoot of the Rocky film. So the Creed movie with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
he plays the son.
Major.
Yeah, that's right. So that's Creed 3. So there have been 2 other Creed films, and then there were 6 Rocky films prior to the Creed films.
So it's got as many movies as Star Wars does.
Just about. Yeah,
Skywalker
I would say
saga.
there's if you combine all the Rocky films and the Creed films, there's about 9 of them. So like I said, Carl Weathers was in the first 4. But he was fantastic. You could not take your eyes off of him when he was on screen. He read his lines. Like I said, he was a very good actor. He studied very well, and he had mentors. And I'm assuming Muhammad Ali was one of the was a heavyweight champion around that time. One of the world most famous stars out there, world famous. So he might have, his inspiration for Apollo Creed may have came from Muhammad Ali. But anyway, so he did go on to make more films. He was in Predator, which honestly, I did not see Predator. One day I'll get around to seeing it. He was in a film called Action Jackson, which interesting because Action Jackson came out in 1988. And the only thing, I didn't see that movie either. The only thing I remember from that film is the poster. And I'm just thinking about the poster. If you're a James Bond fan, that poster where he's holding the weapon and he's, profiling, and the leading lady of the film is also profiling. He's standing back to back, and they're looking at the camera. That's like one of those classic posters that you would see from a James Bond poster. Yeah, exactly. So that always intrigued me that, wow, this may be, like the equivalent of a black James Bond, but I never did get to see the film.
We still have not had to this day.
Well, no, we haven't. So I don't know if anybody else have seen it. But let's go to Q&A and just say hello to people who are here. So we see Eric. Hello, Eric. He said, I don't know if anyone else here is a regular fan of the regular show, but he voiced the god of basketball. Okay, very interesting.
Ah, yes, the regular show with that.
You know about that?
The show with that bird.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the show, but Alex,
it's like a cartoon.
Alex, thank you. You said like you. I saw him first through the Rocky films when I was a kid, watching them with my dad. Also, I didn't know he was an NFL player either. He was so talented. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was only in it for a short period of time, but yeah. So he went on. He did Action Jackson, The Predator. He did, small films. Happy Gilmore, I guess, was his next big film, where he played this professional golfer trying to teach Adam Sandler how to play golf. I didn't see that film either, so I got a lot of catching up to do.
He seems to do a lot of teaching people.
Yeah, he's like a mentor. He's got that kind of commanding voice that when he talks, you listen to him.
Morgan Freeman.
I guess so. Yeah, absolutely.
He's the voice of God.
Yes, he literally
and the
is
God
the
of
voice.
Buttercupcakes.
Yeah. Charlie, thank you. Meet your hero while you can. Exactly, Charlie. Thank you so much. Yeah. So it was. So he's been in the business for over 50 years, and it was just so interesting to see him just show up in Star Wars. And I have no idea how that was put together. Whose idea it was to bring Carl Weathers in, but he just fit. I thought his character Greef Karga did very well. It was one of the reasons why The Mandalorian was such a great hit. Besides Grogu and Din Djarin. So I really appreciate seeing him on the screen. And again, give him just a little bit, and whatever he says, it's going to be memorable.
Mando.
That's right. He comes out and he's got this big booming voice, Mando. And they're sitting down.
He got that big cloak, and he got two robots carrying the cloak.
Yeah, that was
dudes.
that was
two dudes carrying that cloak.
That was pretty funny, and he was dressed, in the
elegantly.
Oh yeah, he's the high magistrate, so he's got to look the part,
Dude was decked out.
Yes, yeah, and he's got two little droids, like you said, carrying his cape in the back, which is pretty interesting.
Dudes.
But
that's crazy.
Yeah, and, I would say my one of my favorite Greef Karga moments is the first episode of season 3, when Din is looking to repair the IG-11 droid.
Oh, yeah, they just
and they
take
went to
those
see
parts
the
off the
Anzellans. Right, yeah.
Wait, no.
Yeah,
No.
right. So,
No, bad baby.
Yeah, right. So, Din is in this little cubby hole or whatever. They're small people.
Grogu can fit right in. Poor Din's
Fricks,
gotta bend down.
Right, yeah.
The Frick family.
But Din was able to fit in there. I don't know how he got in there, and he's trying to communicate with these Anzellans, and he has no idea what they're talking about. And you see Greef outside the window, bending down, saying, "They said they can't fix it."
And Mando's like, "I know."
They say you're gonna have to find something else. It was just pretty funny, and and you see him kneeling down, like, okay, I'm sure he didn't want to get any dirt on his clean clothes. So.
Squash and Anzellans.
Right, exactly.
So tiny.
Yeah. But not only that, obviously, he didn't just act in the series, but he was also director. So he directed 2 episodes. One called Chapter 12, The Siege. That was when Din and Grogu returned to Navarro to fix his ship. And then the next one was in season 3, Chapter 20, called The Foundling. And that was when we saw the appearance of Kelleran Beck. That's awesome. So
Kelleran.
Yeah. So and apparently Carl Weathers was expected to direct more, So if I was online, YouTube, want to wrap this up. About a year ago, I'm not quite sure when Carl Weathers was interviewed by his alma mater, but at San Diego University, they brought him back on, and he talked about his life and his career. And then the question about longevity came up. And he said something that was, as soon as he said it, I had to write it down because I thought it was very cool. And he talked about, why, after all these years, he was still able to remain in this business, And it's very hard to do, to be in the same business for that many years and still be relevant. But this is what he said. So he said about longevity, if you want to, if you want to, you can continue for as long as you want to, as long as you keep reinventing yourself. Yesterday is gone. You can think about it, you can reminisce, but it's gone. Today, reinvent today. So that was his lesson about, if you want to stay in the business or, be relevant, continue to be relevant, you have to reinvent yourself, which is what he did, and which is why he continued to come back and play these roles, right? one other thing that he said, he had advice for actors, and he says, go in there and give all and everything you have and fill that role with as much of your humanity as you can, and it will show up on the screen. And he gave this very good story about something he learned in acting class. I guess he heard this from one of his acting teachers. So you walk into an aquarium, right? And you're looking at the beautiful fish. You know, the fish is colorful, is lovely. You can't take your eyes off the fish. Then all of a sudden, in walks a cat into the aquarium, right? Now, all of a sudden, your attention has moved from the fish to the cat.
And the cat's gonna take out the fish, I take it?
Well, that's the idea. So you're wondering, what is this cat going to do? And this cat now has an investment in being in aquarium. So what Carl is saying is, be the cat. That's who he's always been, as the cat. So whatever small role he has, whether he's the lead or if he's a supporting character, he is the cat. He wants people to keep his eyes on him. So he will do whatever he can to keep people interested in what he has to say, what he does. And that's it. And he does. He, in every single role, like I said, it started with Apollo Creed. There was, no one like him at the time.
Still
Those,
no one like
yeah, those first three films were just amazing with Carl Weathers.
What about the fourth one?
Yeah, the fourth one too. I wasn't a big fan of the fourth one, but but he was great. So just wanted to talk about Carl Weathers, all right, before we moved on. So we really, send out our condolences to his family, and he's left a legacy that we'll never forget. All right. Okay.
That said,
so now we are. Thank you, Keith, for filling in that space.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, well, okay. Well, I was taking a sip, but
with that said,
okay,
let's head straight into Madam Webb.
Now, interesting. All right, so this is the pregame show, right? We got the Super Bowl coming up anyway, so there we go. So we are looking forward to this movie dropping next week. So we want to talk about, who, people out there, if you're listening to us or watching us, are you interested? Are you looking forward to it? Let's talk about it. So where do you want to start?
Let's start with the fact that I'm literally dying right now.
So am I. Okay. Let's hang in there.
I think we have the carrion virus or something.
All right.
If you're a fan of the comics, you'll get that reference.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with Cassandra Webb, aka the main character in this movie. She's going to be played by Dakota Johnson in the Madam Webb movie.
Mm-hmm.
What did you call her, Madam X? You got it stuck in my head now.
It's my fault. Okay. I've been having
fault.
trouble remembering the title of this movie.
You had
okay.
one job.
Madam
Just
X.
the one.
See, now I said Madam X anyway. See, now that's just your fault.
You're getting Malcolm X.
It's Madam Webb. Okay. All right. So Cassandra Webb.
Mm-hmm. Yes. She's
played
psychic.
by Dakota Johnson, right?
She's psychic. She's also blind.
Mm-hmm.
Glass cannon. And she's being kept alive by her web, which also gives her psychic visions in most versions. So she ends up teaming up with Jessica Drew, Julia Carpenter, and Mattie Franklin, which I think might be the storyline of the movie. They just got to swap out Jessica Drew for Anya Corazon so we can... Because she's actually in this movie. And in the comic books, there's this event called the Grim Hunt, and then a relative of Kraven takes out Madam Webb. And then she gets revived later on. So I just wanted to hear the comments and you, Dad's thoughts. What do you think of this storyline being adapted into the movie?
All right. Well, we don't know for sure what is actually being adapted into the movie. Now, you may differ with me. So I think the problem that I'm having with the producers promoting this film is that they're not telling us enough. They're not giving us enough information about the film.
I mean, it's really just, she's psychic, suit dump. We got all their suits.
Yeah. There was only one trailer.
The one?
Yeah. The stars of the film are not out there outside of Dakota Johnson, I think she's
No,
been on a few
they're on like TikTok doing this stuff.
what interviews.
No, not like interviews.
Well,
but
I meant like
these little
promoting.
like snippets. Like there was one where they had the whole cast talk about the movie. There was one with like I think it was Sydney Sweeney describing her character
I
or
see.
something.
Okay.
So yeah,
I know. I don't know. It doesn't seem like I'm feeling excitement for this film.
yeah, I'm not getting the vibes
Yeah.
from the fan base.
Right. Things just seem to be unusual. First of all, the movie's coming out a week from today.
And we literally haven't heard it.
No one has seen it. Not even the press, the critics have seen this film, which
Wait,
usually
really?
no, they haven't. There has been no red carpet unless that's happening, I don't know, maybe a couple of days before, but they're not screening the movie until the day before the movie releases.
Then what's the point of screening?
Well, exactly right. So when this happens, and some movies do this for whatever reason to keep secrecy or keep privacy, I don't know. I don't know what the reason is for this film. But usually when you're in a position like this where you're not really giving the press enough time to look at your movie and to give constructive feedback about it, that's a bad sign. So I don't know. So let's see what we have on Q&A. All right. I don't have high hopes, but it could be entertaining. I trust Dakota Johnson will do well. Hopefully Sony has nothing as embarrassing as unprofitable as Morbius.
Well, I will say this. Morbius
Good
had a lot of false advertising in it too. Like, remember those Spider-Man posters of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man of all people? If you watch Matt Pat's video, apparently it's like the PS2 Tobey Maguire of all versions.
So
there's like a Spider-Man Oscorp building. So, and none of that stuff is actually in the movie.
So they were giving you the impression that Spider-Man was going to show up.
Yeah, there's some reference to Spider-Man.
See, I don't like that.
Because Morbius is a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
And luckily, it doesn't seem like they're doing that in Madam Web because I didn't see any Spider-Man related nomenclature.
Correct.
But,
right. Yeah, exactly. So I haven't read the comics, but would like to. I see Anya Corazon in the Black Widow comic series by Kelly Thompson. Thought she was cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know anything about Anya? I think I saw that name in our Anya.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She's a character in the movie.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, we have one more comment from Alice.
Yeah. Okay. What we got here?
I thought.
Yeah, we read that one already. Okay.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, at Eric Elliott. Still need to see the trailer, but yeah, after Morbius has some other flops, I'm a bit wary about Sony's releases.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, once it comes out, it'll be Morbid time.
Morbid time?
Or Webbin time, actually.
Okay.
So there was this like meme on the internet where Morbius, like people were like, it's Morbid time. So now we're gonna have webbing time for Sony, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay. Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, so and then one other thing, this movie is coming out I said this already, it's coming out next Wednesday, which is the 14th, which is Valentine's Day, which I find very unusual for this kind of movie to be released on Valentine's. Well, one, it's being released on a Wednesday.
It doesn't seem like a Hallmark type movie.
Yeah, and it's also released on Valentine's Day. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were trying to push it out as quick as possible on a day that everybody would have the time to see it, but.
So Matthew was asking if, I know nothing about Madam Web, anything you think I should know if I see the movie? What do you recommend?
I think you should see the movie.
Okay.
Just so you can have your own informed opinion on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, okay. Matthew, I honestly don't know if you're looking for Spider-Man in this film. I don't think it's going to happen. But
that's not helpful.
Well, you can't go into these Sony movies thinking that you're going to see Spider-Man all the time, right? So we don't want to get anyone's hopes up.
I mean, it's Sony. Spider-Man is literally the only thing they have to keep them in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you heard this, they were going to make like an Aunt May movie about the Aunt May for the Amazing Spider-Man or something.
Yeah,
That's
but
the point. Like the deal is that Sony needs to keep making these movies,
mhm.
or they lose the rights to Spidey and go back to Marvel.
Right, I understand that, right, and I think that is the issue is that they're bringing in these minor characters from Spider-Man. I don't exactly know what their purpose is.
Yeah, like how
Yeah.
did Madam Web get a whole movie?
Right, I
And
don't. Yeah,
the fact that Jessica Drew isn't even in this, and she is like the iconic Spider Woman,
hmm
is surprising to me. I mean, she had like her own '90s show.
Yeah.
She's in plenty of Spider-Man MCU, not MCU, but animated shows. So what? Why Madam Web? I mean, she's literally a handicapped blind old lady
Mhm.
who's like watching over the Spider-Verse,
Okay,
which makes more sense.
right. So now there. Okay, a couple of things. So there are 4 characters, from what I understand, right? 4 characters,
Yeah,
and are they
five.
5 Okay, well, I'm just talking about the 4
The
ladies.
good guys.
Okay, and they're all some interpretation of a Spider Woman or Madam Web. Okay,
They're not all Madam Web. Julia Carpenter becomes Madam Web.
right.
Mattie Franklin gets sacrificed.
Okay.
And Anya,
In the comic books.
she's like Aranya, but she's also a Spider Girl.
Mhm.
She gets Julia Carpenter's costume.
Mhm.
So
So Cassie or Cassandra, she is the first Madam Web, and then she dies, and then Julia Carpenter becomes the new Madam Web.
yeah, she gives her
Okay.
suit to Anya.
Okay, got it. Okay, so honestly, I don't know how this is going to tie into Spider-Man.
It kind of sucks that they took out the lenses though.
What does that mean?
Like all of their suits are supposed to have lenses, so I don't know why they don't have that. And also,
Mhm.
is Cassandra even blind in this movie? Like she's a paramedic apparently. I don't know why she's not blind.
I get the impression that this is maybe
An origin story.
an origin story. Exactly, I was about to
'cause
say here.
Ezekiel Sims and Madam Web are
Yeah.
both like old in the comics.
Yes,
Which that
right.
means
So
by implication, all the other Spider Women are going to be old too, unless they do some sort of time jump mumbo jumbo.
okay, all right. And then apparently, Cassandra is going to be in a position where she's trying to save her girlfriends, right, from the villain. Let's talk about Ezekiel Sims. What do we know about Ezekiel?
So he's not traditionally a Spider-Man villain,
Mhm.
more like a Spider-Man ally. Dare I say? So on Earth 4, he actually becomes Spider-Man after the death of Peter Parker in his world. And in the main timeline, he's usually working alongside Spider-Man or trying to stop him from getting taken out.
Okay, all right. And he has the same powers as Spider-Man, or what's
Give
different
or
about
take, he's a spider totem, and I have no clue what that means. So
a
don't
spider
ask.
totem?
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
I have no clue what that means, so don't ask.
And does he climb walls like Spider-Man? Does
I
he shoot
suppose.
web? Okay, so yeah, once again, the producers are doing very little to prepare us for this film. Even the director, I don't have the director's name, but she has done some work in London. I think that's where she's based in England. She doesn't really have a lot of credits to her name, so I honestly can't tell you what we're looking at now. The Super Bowl is coming up on Sunday, so maybe we may see another trailer.
I doubt it.
See, no,
I don't think any movie or show would release a trailer 3 days before the movie comes out. Like, if anything, don't release the trailer at that point.
And then the rating. I mean, I don't think I've seen the rating. Like, we'll have to find out. Hopefully, it is PG-13. But yeah, it just seems very unusual.
It's PG-13.
It's PG-13.
For
Okay.
violence / action and comic book.
Yeah, that's the typical. Okay.
Language.
All right. That's good. All right. Okay. Now, speaking of the Super Bowl, this Sunday that we are being told, or we're hearing that there may be a Deadpool trailer. Now
by golly, I hope so.
That's going to have people talking. All right. Anything else we want to say regarding Madame Web?
No.
Okay. So we're going to check it out the weekend that it opens, our buddy Jared's going to be
Oh,
coming.
well, get this.
Yes.
So I'm looking. They have like stuff on the Sony Pictures Entertainment channel,
Mhm.
like promos for Madam Web, like who is Madam Web, little snapshot of her powers.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know why this isn't being pushed. I'm not getting any of this in my feed. Like, who is Ezekiel Sims? Grounded in Reality. Who is Madam Web?
I see. Okay. All right.
Basically that's it.
Right. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go see it the weekend after it releases. We're gonna take, our buddy Jared's gonna be coming with us, and then we're gonna break it down and talk about it. So who knows? I'm going in there with very little expectations because I have no idea. I don't know much about the character. I don't know the storyline. So let's just see. We'll find out. All right.
All right.
We'll hope for the best. Okay.
Well, that's it.
All right. So to wrap it up, we won't be here on Sunday doing a live stream, obviously because of the Super Bowl. So enjoy the game, and maybe we'll talk about the Deadpool trailer.
We actually might be up Sunday. Maybe like if I feel up to it, I'll post like a live trailer reaction because I'm a good person.
For
Deadpool 3, Le Pool Tres.
Yeah,
that
hopefully it's a trailer that can be seen by all ages. We'll see. Because usually what they do, they have what they call a red band trailer, which is for adults, and then they have the generalized trailer. You don't want to see a red band.
Do I care?
Of course you do.
No.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
As a Deadpool, I mean, it can't be that bad.
All right. So you know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is February 8th.
Oh yeah, tomorrow is it's 5 days after the Flash came to 2024 present day.
Is that true? That's a true story. February
the
8th.
Flash, he came to Earth February 3rd to the future, so he can get advice from his future self on something. Okay. I won't spoil it for you.
Oh, that's fine. While we wrap up, talking about Madam Web, and if there's any more Q&A, our producer will let us know. But February 8th, 2 big birthdays, right? John Williams, okay, is February 8th, all right? He's turning 92 years old.
Wow.
92 years old.
Wow.
Yes, so happy birthday to John Williams tomorrow. And then our buddy Maceo shares the same birthday. Pretty cool, right? We did not plan it that way. We had no idea that they were going to have the same birthday, but Maceo will be turning 11 on Thursday. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Now, I unfortunately could not read what you just... Okay, all right.
It said Maceo.
Oh, okay, all right. So I believe that's it. Did we miss anything?
We need to get you a second pair of glasses.
No, I could not.
The first pair.
I could. Of course, I know my own son's birthday. Why do I have to be? Why do I have to be notified? Okay. Anyway. All right, Keith. Where can people find us?
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts: socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Father Son Galaxy. Website FatherSonGalaxy.com. Please donate to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Father Son Galaxy. And yeah,
that is it. Okay, all right. So thank you, everyone. I guess the next time we'll be back. We still got Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur to talk about. We'll start watching those episodes. The Bad Batch is coming, so there's still a lot going on for February, and we'll talk about Madam Web when we see it. Okay. So thank you, everyone, once again. Okay, that's not nice. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Until next time, take care. And we will